have released.
Political parties kick against move to abolish or start using the Heritage Fund.
And 12 senior Nigerian army officers to answer for alleged involvement in arms scandal. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to News Hour on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Yoko Kwakutre.
And I am Ofeyiwa Dako.
Clement Sam will do the sign translation. The curfew hours imposed on Old Tafo Kumasi have been reviewed to between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. In addition, the 40 suspects who were earlier arrested for attempting to relaunch an attack at Tafo have been released.
On Friday, the chief imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, was in the area and called for calm in talks between the Tafo chief and the Muslims in the area. The chairman of the Regional Security Council has told GBC24 that anyone found to be involved in the clashes will be arrested.
The chairman of the Ashanti Regional Security Council, RECSEC, Peter Anefi-Mensah, told the media that the Regional Security Council has been holding peace dialogues with feuding factions involved in the Kumasi-Tafo disturbances. Mr. Anefi-Mensah, who is also the outgoing Ashanti Regional Minister, said the peace talks are being held with the parties separately with the aim of speeding up the restoration of tranquility and peace to the town. In a related development, Mr. Anefi-Mensah also disclosed that another batch of the security task force has been dispatched to Drombosu in the Setria Fram Plains district of the Ashanti region to protect the area against the invasion of nomadic herdsmen and their cattle from other areas. The first task force has already been sent to the Asante Achim North district.
3 high-rise buildings in Accra have about 3 weeks to comply fully with fire safety regulations or face the National Fire Service. The structures include the Ministry of Foreign Affairs facility at Airport Junction, the Silver Star Towers and the Snit Building at the Airport City. 4 days ago, owners of such buildings were given a 2-week ultimatum to ensure that the buildings have early warning detection systems, including smoke alarms and firefighting facilities, including extinguishers, landing valves, and sprinklers. Earlier in the day, the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Fire Service, Prince Billian Naglati, spoke to GBC24 on the need to adhere to safety regulations, especially for high-rise buildings.
The National Fire Service inaugurated a fire task force in October last year to help check how individuals and organizations were adhering to fire safety. The task force is also to have fire safety audits in all high-rise buildings in the country in order to intensify fire safety measures. The issue of tackling fires, especially on high-rise buildings, and the challenges that come with it has dominated discussions over time. One of the duties of the Fire Task Force is to ensure high-rise buildings have some basic fire equipment that can help in fighting fires, aside from a fire extinguisher.
High-rise buildings are also supposed to have adequate extinguishers. They are supposed to have hose reels. They are supposed to have total flooding system, which are automatically actuated firefighting facilities. That when there is fire within these premises, whether there are people there or not, those facilities can automatically get actuated and extinguish the fire even before the fire service gets in there.
According to the fire service, 24-hour patrol teams are still in the various markets to help prevent fire outbreaks.
We are also liaising with the assemblies that are the custodians of the markets to ensure that they still give us a permanent place in the market where we can have our men manning these fire posts with our equipment.
Some of the recent fires include those in the northern part of the country in which some people perished.
Few fires have occurred quite recently where people even died in those fires. First, those fires are preventable if the people were to appreciate and cultivate the fire safety culture, and I know they will be able to prevent those fires. And if they were to call the fire service in time, those deaths that, or those people that lost their lives, we will have prevented those ones.
The Deputy National Public Relations Officer of the Fire Service, Divisional Officer Prince Billy Anaglati, says the fire service is poised to deliver on its mandate, but people should take fire tips seriously. He advised people to desist from making prank calls to the service, since more often than not, the prank calls keep the emergency line engaged and busy, denying genuine calls access to the service.
The National
The
Communications
National Communications Authority says there was no underhand dealing in the selection process for an interconnect clearinghouse license. The Director General of the authority, Mr. William Tevi, says the assertions raised in the public domain are regrettable and misleading.
Imani Ghana and some members of the public recently publicly questioned the integrity of the process that led to the award of an interconnect clearinghouse license by the NCA to AfriWave Telecom. It has been alleged that the process period was too short for proper evaluation of tenders and that AfriWave was giving scores higher than the highest score attainable in some sections of the technical assessment. Following an open invitation for applications for a license to operate clearinghouse services in Ghana on 2nd December 2014, the NCA received 5 applications for a clearinghouse license from AfriWave Telecom Ghana Limited, Channel IT, Global Voice Group, Prodigy Ghana Limited, and Suba Info Solutions Ghana Limited. After all technical assessments, AfriWave came up tops with 39.5% out of the 40 points allocated. The allegations also indicated that AfriWave lacks the expertise and experience for the clearinghouse job. Officials of the NCA say the alleged fraudulent tender Imani based their arguments on was a draft report. The NCA admitted some initial errors and said in the preparation of the report, they transposed the scores from Excel to Microsoft Word and noticed that there were some transpositional flaws which were later corrected.
It should be noted that after the corrections, the total scores remained the same, with AfriWave as having obtained the most points. Again, and to state it categorically, the corrections had no impact on the outcome of the evaluation.
Members of an application evaluation panel explained some technicalities in the final master score.
The management setup of the company applying for the license, and they gave it a weighting of 20%. Then there was the financial capability of applicants, which is to assess the applicant's ability to finance the projects that they were seeking to undertake. And then technical capabilities. So both financial capability and technical capabilities were awarded a weighting of 40% each because of the understanding that the solution, the licensee has to deploy a very technically sound solution.
The Electronic Communication Act 775 of 2008 requires that every communication service provider must interconnect with every other communication service provider. This is to ensure that subscribers of one network can communicate easily and seamlessly with the subscribers of other networks. The clearinghouse services will therefore provide the common platform for monitoring volumes of all telecom traffic as per Act 864 and reduce cost of interconnectivity for service providers. Meanwhile, the NCA assures that it is committed to providing regulatory functions with utmost integrity and transparency.
Political parties in Ghana say the country stands to benefit from the proceeds of oil and gas if the appropriate measures are strictly followed at an oil and gas forum in Accra to solicit the views of political parties on happenings in the extractive industry. Representatives of the NPP, NDC, CPP and PNC kicked against moves to abolish or start using the Heritage Fund. The Heritage Fund is an endowment reserve meant to support the country's future development when the petroleum reserves drop.
Since Ghana found oil in 2007, there have been calls for transparency as well as legal and institutional arrangements to ensure that the natural resource becomes more of a blessing rather than a curse to the citizens. According to the Natural Resource Governance Institute, a non-state institution, there is a close link between politics and management of extractive resources such as oil, gas and minerals. Political parties play an important role in ensuring that the nation's natural resources are properly managed to benefit citizens or the nation as a whole, rather than a few individuals. The outcome of a consultative meeting in 2014 and 2015 required political parties to develop policies that will answer effectively and meaningfully contribute to the national debate and policy agenda on the governance of the oil and gas sector. Out of these consultations, 4 political parties, namely the NDC, MPP, PNC and the CPP, have presented their positions in areas of fiscal sustainability, revenue management, as well as transparency and accountability in managing the extractive sector.
We should have a transparent system where we will all be able to determine which companies have bidded for and what criteria has been used to select them. But to allow a minister the exclusive rights in choosing the companies and individuals that should benefit from these oil blocks can lead to some rent-seeking that will have serious consequences for our generation and future generation.
For the country to fully harness the potential of this sector, the nation must commit resources to the training of citizens, and also there must be a broader policy intervention, including the review of the educational system, especially to take into consideration the training of technical human resource, predominantly the Ghanaian workforce.
The NDC will abide by the fiscal sustainability rules that have been introduced and ensure that we commit ourselves to infrastructure development and other social investment that will lead to significant expenditure that would avoid expenditure overruns, and we keep to the regulations that allow us to go to Parliament for approvals for the use of the oil funds that we raise.
At the moment, we have a lot of inclarity in oil and gas institutional framework. GMPC, they take state money by law, and yet they are allowed to do all kinds of things as though they were some private commercial entity. They are now guaranteeing things for ECG. They are doing a lot for TOR. The money we're giving them for a specific purpose, they are getting into these areas. There's a need to bring clarity to this. Do we want GMPC to be some independent state business that must fend for itself? Or do we want to continue giving it money, free money, as though it were some state agency providing social services? That has to be sorted.
It is the first time that all 4 political parties have presented drafted policies on oil and gas to the public. At the end of these consultations, it is expected that the electoral manifestos of these political parties will help transform the country's natural resources, as against many countries whose manifestos are usually crafted on electoral victory rather than clear internal policies.
A security command center is to be established at Ejura to coordinate the exercise to flush out Fulani herdsmen from parts of the Ashanti region. The Fulani issue is more serious in Ejura, necessitating a coordinated response from the Security High Command to deal with the issue.
This celebration of Akwesidai was the first since Nana Sehwedie ascended the Great Boachi stool. Nana Sehwedie was outdoored as the new Ejura Hene and Adonte Hene of the Mampon traditional area. He is currently the Chief Principal Protocol Officer at the Directorate of State Protocol. The event attracted personalities including the representative of the Queen of Swaziland and leader of a delegation from Swaziland, government functionaries as well as NDC and MPP executives in the Ashanti region. The Ejura Hene, Nana Sehwedie, assured the citizens that the Fulani menace in the area is receiving the fullest attention at the high command of the security agencies.
IGP ni national security force so oma ahye say ana oma ma yenkura say eye nyame pa e free ebrade kono security agencies ni nyina Ejura ha ebeye central point sampa info nyina betra no ma hwe say ye ne yenuanom no ne ye maame ne ye papa nom no ye ndoban ya ye dua wa Ejura ha no. The
outgoing Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Peter Anefi-Mensah, reminded the people not to take the law into their own hands to perpetrate violence in the area. In a related development, the Ghana Association of Cattle Farmers held a meeting at Kasua on problems confronting cattle farmers in the country, most of whom are Fulanis. The association said one of the key objectives is to foster unity and peace between herdsmen and crop farmers. The chairman of the association, Alhaji Hanefi Sunday, advised the farmers, stressing that illegal movement of cattle in the country is inimical to national development.
French is described as a Romance language. In Europe, French is the third most spoken language after German and English. It is an official language for many of the world's organizations such as United Nations, NATO, and numerous international committees and organizations. The Department of French at the University of Ghana has commemorated the 10th anniversary of Ghana's affiliation to the Committee of Francophone Countries. The meeting focused on French education, linguistics, cultures, and language didactics within an increasingly Francophone Ghana. French is one of the most influential languages in the world, the most studied second language in the world after English. Ghana shares borders with French-speaking countries. However, a good number of Ghanaians are unable to speak French. In the past, French was a compulsory language at the basic school level, which gave students the basic foundation in French. The colloquium at the University of Ghana brought together a rich blend of stakeholders from diverse backgrounds to share the experience in teaching French in an Anglophone multilingual setting. A senior lecturer of the Department of French, University of Ghana, Dr. C.M. Badasu says, to enhance bilingualism in Ghana, French must be made a compulsory subject in all senior high schools. He also called on the GES to make provision for the training of French teacher trainees in colleges of education. Also, monetary incentives should be given to civil servants who are bilingual to encourage others to make the necessary effort to learn French. The head of the French department of the University of Ghana, Mr. Robert Yena, says students must be encouraged to learn French since knowing a second international language is an asset.
Plans are to continue to improve upon the learning of French, to find strategies to further improve upon the learning of French through research. And that is particularly why this colloquium is being organized, to encourage lecturers to enhance research into the teaching and learning of French. And that is the significance of this colloquium, finding new ways, innovative ways of teaching and learning French on the part of the students.
The program was dubbed The Context of Teaching and Learning French, Realities, Obstacles and Prospects.
And to our own, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation's TV license collection team has engaged members of the Tema regional branch of the Ghana Hotel Association to educate them on the need to pay their TV license fee.
Members of the Hoteliers Association at Tema were taken through the processes involved in paying the TV license fees. Some members of the association raised concerns about the mode of collection.
A lot of taxes that is being bombarded on the hotels. We pay more than 17 taxes that has 6 rooms, 6 TV, but each one is 3 Ghana cedis. So can the law also be flexible so that in future this package will be given to the hoteliers?
The members also entreated the TV license collection team to intensify its education campaign. The head of TV license team, Reverend Emmanuel Boche, says payment of the TV license fees is a civic responsibility and mandatory.
When people know why they have to pay, where they have to pay. The secondly is they should have the say why. I mean, something should happen for me to say, look, I want to pay my TV license. Education is ongoing, and we are coming up with materials to still intensify it.
Reverend Botre entreated the hotel operators to cooperate with GBC in the collection of the TV license fee to enhance GBC's operations. Back with business, don't go away.
Hello again, it's Friday. We'll do business, brought to you by SIC Live. My name is Morris Ogbete. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa, says
The central bank is engaging key players and appropriate regulatory agencies to come out with a framework that will spell out sanctions in the operations of the country's direct debit system. At a forum in Accra, it was agreed that without stronger regimes for compliance, the direct debit system could be undermined.
The direct credit systems is an electronic payment system similar to standing order, where a customer instructs his or her bankers to make recurring payments of a specified amount and on a specified date. However, unlike the standing order, the direct credit is done electronically and is quicker and safer. The direct debit system was introduced following the establishment of the National Electronic Clearing House 2012 by the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, GIPS. It is one of the services introduced to enhance the country's payment system in line with modern trends. However, since the inception of the direct debit system 4 years ago, industry players say lack of funds in client accounts, failure of informing banks of changes in clients' accounts, invalid accounts, inability for institutions to use mandates from clients, among others, are factors that are hampering the growth of the direct debit system. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa, said these issues need to be addressed and the central bank will work with relevant stakeholders to resolve these issues.
It is only by joining hands as stakeholders that we can confront and resolve issues relating to the youth bit in Ghana. I would like to assure you all that the Bank of Ghana is fully behind this initiative and will do whatever it takes on its part as the regulator to ensure that direct debit fully matures and is serving the needs of all stakeholders.
In an interview with GBC24, some of the participants suggested a strong regulatory regime to protect both institutions and clients and also promote the growth and usage of the direct debit system in the country.
We are proposing that there must be regulation to penalize clients who do not make funds available at the time of collection, because that is what is not making the system work.
The whole bedrock, the whole foundation of an economy is trust and people honoring obligations. If you make an obligation as an individual to pay for a service or a company to pay for a service, you have to honor that obligation. And when there are no penalties, then people will try to jump out of obligations.
I think it actually goes broader than that. I think we need to facilitate a clear understanding of direct debits within the client's markets and the client's minds.
If you look at the trend in terms of proportionality against direct credit and against the usage of checks, I think we haven't done as well as we should. We made mention of the fact that when it comes to providing the systems, we are 100% there, nearly 100% there.
Directors of GIPS, the operators of the direct debit system, say the system can be used for payments of salaries, dividend, as well as receipts for premiums, subscriptions and payments of utility bills.
Let's do aviation now. Royal Air Maroc has launched its first intra-Africa air service from Accra to Monrovia to Freetown. The move is intended to support the continent's economic and tourism industries. With 10 years of existence in Ghana, the Africa sales manager, Imat Gamni, says Royal Air Maroc is here to stay and has more to offer its customers.
Royal Air Maroc is a Moroccan airline and one of the leading airlines in Africa and has a dual passenger and freight transport. It has been operating flights to destinations including Casablanca, Canada, the United States, Brazil, and 33 African countries. Royal Air Maroc is a group made up of 4 main clusters: the transport, industry, services, and human resource and training. Founded in 1957 and a merger of Air Atlas and Air Maroc, the company enjoys an exclusive right in both domestic and international air transport in Morocco. It serves nearly 90 destinations worldwide. In 2015, Royal Air Maroc transported 6.2 million passengers and achieved a turnover of $1.4 billion. Due to its intra-Africa air service, the company hopes to serve the Liberian and Sierra Leonean capital new destinations from Accra 3 times a week, which are all-day flights on Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Their type of aircraft is Boeing 737-700 with 112 economy class seats and 12 business class seats. Currently, their fare is $395, taxes inclusive, to the African countries. The fare for children traveling on the flight is 75% of that of adults. 3 luggage are accepted. 2 must weigh 23 kilograms. 1 of the same weight is free of charge. The Africa sales manager of Royal Air Maroc, Imad Ganmi, spoke about the economic advantage in boarding Royal Air Maroc to Ghana.
We have in this ambition to get people also from Ghana within our teams. We also push and support cultural events in all our destinations. Our ambition is to do the same thing here also in Ghana. So it's huge possibilities that are open for us here, and we are proud to be part of the economy of the country.
He also explained the reasons behind the straight routes to the various African countries.
To make and offer more possibilities for people of Accra, of Ghana, of Sierra Leone and of Liberia to travel between these 3 countries at the best rate, at the best quality of service.
On March 15, 2016, a new service to Freetown via Monrovia from Accra will be launched.
And still in business, the Bank of Ghana has placed a deposit protection bill before Parliament. When passed into law, it will build a safety net for small savers. Depositors will therefore have a fallback position in the event of any institutional failure. The bill does not, however, ensure full recovery of deposits, but seeks to provide a safety net for depositors. The head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Raymond Anamfo, announced this at the opening of the Kumasi branch of Ideal Finance.
Ideal Finance started in a rented shop at Nako House at Jowli in Accra in 2010 with 3 people and an initial capital of 27,000 Ghana cedis. After 6 months of operations, the company moved to the Kingsway building in Accra Central. The staff strength increased from 3 to 10, and in 2012, a key management staff was brought on board to facilitate the rapid growth of the entity. The year 2013 saw further expansion with the opening of the Tema branch. The official launch of its Kumasi branch, which happens to be the 4th branch and the first of Ideal Finance outside the Accra Tema enclave, is meant to serve the northern sector of the country. The Chempemhene of Kumasi, Oheneba Eduse Poku, formally outdoored the Kumasi branch. The vision of Ideal Finance is to be a standard of excellence in financial services with a specialty in the provision of tailored financial solutions to businesses that are largely focused on SMEs, organizations and individuals. The Chempemhene of Kumasi, Oheneba Eduse Poku, used the occasion to appeal to the management of the company to extend its tentacles to the other municipalities in the region. The president of the Association of Rural Banks, Dr. Philip Yao Amache, urged management of Ideal Finance to be mindful of the increased levels of risk that characterizes branch expansions and institute measures to mitigate its impact on depositors and shareholders. The head of banking supervision of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Raymond Amanfo, emphasized the need for banks and non-bank financial institutions to pay particular attention to the financial needs of their clientele base.
The market players tend to play among the same customer base. It is therefore important for institutions such as Ideal Finance to think outside the box in order to become the preferred choice in this competitive marketplace.
In an interview with GBC24, the Group Chief Executive of Ideal Finance Holdings, Dr. Niko Tejani enumerated products and services that the Kumasi branch of Ideal Finance has for its clientele.
Ideal Finance is basically a finance house. We give medium, long-term loans, we give school loans, we give check loans. We also have investment.
And away from that, the president of the West African Nobles Forum, Dr. De Otibu Asari, has called for targeted governmental support for indigenous entrepreneurs. This, he says, will enable them to stand up to the competition on the global market.
They are referred to as the engine of growth, employing about 80% of the country's workforce and a crucial part of Ghana's economy. However, the private sector, and for that matter the local entrepreneur, continue to face a litany of challenges spanning lack of access to capital, high interest rate and rising inflation. At this year's Heroes of Change Awards ceremony, recipients emphasized the effect of these bottlenecks on their operations. The founder of the West African Nobles Forum, Dr. De Otebu Asari, called on government to make a targeted investment in the entrepreneur.
There is no disputation of the fact that foreign direct investment has helped in no small way in injecting financial and technical capital into the Ghanaian economy, and hence helped in the attainment of some level of internal stability. However, it is important that indigenous entrepreneurs whose capital levels do not equate that of their foreign enterprise counterparts are supported and encouraged.
The Volta Regional Minister, Helen Adjuantoso, advised Ghanaian businesses to look beyond challenges and take advantage of opportunities. Awards were presented to indigenous companies who are making an impact in both the Ghanaian and international business space. The Heroes of Change Award, organized by the West African International Magazine, seeks to pat the back of small and medium-scale enterprises who are contributing to the development of the country.
We go to the interbank market, where the cedi today lost against all major trading currencies. The cedi depreciated by a peso to the US dollar to trade at 3 cedis 88 pesos, 2 pesos to the pound sterling to trade at 5 cedis 62 pesos, and lost against the euro by 6 pesos as well. And that was business brought to you by SIC Life, the official insurance company of all GBC staff. The news continues live after this break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We'll do some health now. The Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, Professor Babatunde Osotime, has called for protection for the girl child and women. He also condemned the abuse and battery of women by men as unacceptable and called for severe punishment for offenders. Professor Osotime made the statement when he and the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelita, interacted with market women and head porters at the Malamata market. A report by Sarah Ofori.
Enhancing the capacity of adolescents and women is key to harnessing Ghana's demographic dividend, which is defined as the socioeconomic gains derived from the working age groups. Though found in the informal sector, market women and head porters also make up an essential workforce for the country. In the words of the Executive Director of the UNFPA, Professor Babatunde Osotime, markets are a center of life for communities where everything from food to clothes and other commodities can be found. He therefore expressed continued support towards empowering those women who run the markets.
It's unacceptable for any man to beat a woman. And I think that what we started, we must continue, and men must be prosecuted for beating women. So gender-based violence has zero tolerance with us, and will continue to protect all women against this.
Social interventions introduced by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection in the market include legal, social and health. The ministry registered headquarters on the National Health Insurance Scheme and with the support from the UNFPA established a gender-based violence, sexual and reproductive health service center located within the market.
We have formally submitted our affirmative action bill to Cabinet for consideration. Presently in Parliament, we have the Interstate Succession Bill and also the Property Rights of Spouses Bill. We have received parliamentary approval for the human trafficking regulations. We are finalizing the domestic violence legislative instrument.
The center, which is to empower the women, also demonstrates Ghana's resolve to end child marriages, of which most of the headquarters are victims. Sarah Fori, GBC24, Malamata Market, Accra.
African leaders have been urged to invest in young people's health and opportunities to enable them to reach their full potential and contribute to the continent's development. The Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, Professor Babatunde Osotime, says this would accelerate progress and pave way for sustainable development. Professor Osotime made the appeal in discussions with the Ministry of Health in Accra. As Africans work to achieve a better future for themselves and their children, they are also contributing their bit for sustainable development. Hence the need to increase domestic resources for population and development, sexual and reproductive health, and empowerment of all, especially women and children. These are the words of the Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Professor Babatunde Osotime, at a dinner organized by the Minister for Health, Mr. Alexander Segbefia, to welcome him during his working visit to Ghana.
As I interact in the world, I actually find that multisectoralism is what the world is about. There is no one group that can actually do this and do it well, and that it takes all of us putting what we need together to be able to accomplish what we have to do.
Health Minister Mr. Alexander Segbefia commended UNFPA for assisting Ghana in diverse ways, including creating avenues for young people to have better access to reproductive health issues.
Population dynamics in many African countries, including Ghana, present challenges to meeting the needs of children and young people as they come of age. They seek to apply skills acquired through schooling, join the labor force, make families, and participate in society. For us in Ghana, we are well aware that the well-considered economic, educational, and health policies for youth can increase their productivity and can spur economic growth.
Mr. Alexander Segbefia, however, pledged the ministry's commitment to support UNFPA's activities for sustainable development in Africa. Well, that's it for health. We'll take a breather here.
Thanks for staying on. 12 senior Nigerian army officers have been handed over to the anti-corruption agency for their alleged involvement in an arms scandal. The army did not name them but said they included 6-7 generals. If the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission finds enough evidence against them, they will be tried in a military court. A presidential inquiry last year found that fake contracts worth $2 billion were awarded by the previous administration. It alleged that the money, which was meant to buy arms to fight the Islamist Boko Haram group, had gone missing. The former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki was charged in December in connection with the case involving $68 million reported to be missing. International judges in the case of Kenyan Vice President William Ruto have barred the use of recanted testimony. The decision means prior recorded witness statements cannot be used by prosecutors at the International Criminal Court in this case. Key witnesses in the case changed their statements, which prosecutors said was due to intimidation and bribery. Mr. Ruto, who is being tried over unrest that followed the 2007 elections, denies charges of crimes against humanity. About 1,200 people were killed in the violence.
Good evening, by kindness of HRPS Tornado Bitters and Lonat. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. Latebia Koshi 1 Basic School has won the maiden edition of the Under-13 soccer competition for the Greater Accra region. The special two-day tournament was to assist the Ghana Education Service develop talent at the basic level. The event was a pilot project organized for schools in the Accra Sub-Metro unit of the Ghana Education Service. 10 schools, including the St. Francis Xavier, University Basic School, Odoko 6 Basic School, Alajo 3 and 4 Primary, took part in the tournament. The finals was a clash between Latebi Okoshi 1 Basic School in the green jersey and St. Francis Xavier Basic School. Goals in each half helped Latebi Okoshi to seal a convincing 2-0 win. Partners of the event were delighted at the turn of events.
Looking at football, I mean, there's a lot of hope for this country. And I believe that in the next maybe 10 to 15 years, Ghana will qualify for the World Cup Championship and come back with a trophy.
We really enjoyed the tournament, and it really motivates us to do some such occasion every year. So, as a part of our effort, as I said to you in the morning, we are going to also provide you all the 3 schools, sports equipments and kits.
Players and teams that distinguished themselves in the competition were presented with medals and cash prizes. For winning the competition, Latebi Okoshi 1 Primary, aside the medals, took away the giant trophy at stake and a cash prize of 3,000 Ghana cedis. Dansoman Hurricanes Rugby Football Club say they are determined to dethrone last year's champions Cosmos Buffaloes. The two sides clash in a titanic semi-final match on Saturday. The 2015-2016 Ghana Rugby Club Championship reaches the penultimate stage tomorrow. The top 4 teams, Congress FC, Cosmos Buffaloes RFC, Dansoman Hurricanes RFC, and Ida Sports RFC, will do battle for a place in the finals next week Saturday at the Accra Sports Stadium. Congress SC, first placed on the log after the round-robin phase, will lock arms with Ida Sports, who ended 4th. The second semi-final match on the day is the clash between last year's champions, Cosmos Buffaloes, who placed 2nd on the log, and 3rd place Dansoman Hurricanes. Captains say they are leaving no stone unturned.
It's not over yet. We believe our next game we're going to win, so at least we can secure the 2nd position now.
We are really prepare ourselves now. We are surely prepare ourselves for any game that we play, we are going to win.
Any team that we will meet will beat them.
The General Secretary of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Abdulaziz Issa, says they will be looking to select the best players to form the national team for the upcoming international championship.
We've already selected about 20 to 22 team. We have to wind it down to 12. But after the finals, we go into campaign, and then we are able to get the best team for Togo. Well, it's very crucial because it happens once in a year. Normally it can be 15s or 7s. This time it's going to be 7s, that means 7 aside. And if you excel in these competitions, it normally increases your rating in Africa. And we have zones. If you do well for some time, you even get out of the zone and go to the zone of the Nigerians and the Moroccans who are above our zone. So it's very important that we take this cup. We have the tools now to make it happen. We only need the resources and the support and more teamwork so that we can go to Togo and beat all the countries there.
The Confederation of African Rugby Car Rugby Sevens competition will take place in Lomé, Togo next month. Finally, the president of the Ghana Weightlifting Federation, Mr. Beninu Mensah, says it is unfortunate a section of the media feels the new Youth and Sports Minister, Neelanti Vanderpoy, will favor his outfit the more than other sporting disciplines. He says Neelanti has come for sports disciplines.
Oh, well, if you know Neelanti that well, Neelanti and I go way back in the 80s in the central region when we both used to play football for our school teams. He played for Infanspin whilst I played for St. Augustine. So if you know him that well, Neelanti, this is the time I believe he even started shunning weightlifting. I mean, but look, let's face it. We have a saying in account that Niofudu apano any piano. If, for instance, the sports minister realizes that weightlifting or one particular discipline or the other, they are doing so much, and there's going to be some help from government, and he gives this, I don't think there's anything bad about that. But I know Neelanti for who he is. Neelanti is so fair. Neelanti wants to make sure that he's growing every sport in the country, not just weightlifting. Then somebody will also come out with an argument, oh, Neelanti played football even to the highest level. Neelanti did a bit of boxing, so is he going to be biased towards boxing and football? I would say no. The guy is so fair-minded. He's come to make sure that sports in Ghana grow, not one particular discipline. And I think he's lost no words in in pointing out that fact that he's not coming for football, he's not coming for weightlifting, he's not coming for boxing, he's coming for Ghana sports. And I think that's the way I want all of us to see him.
Thanks for watching That Sports.
Welcome back. In showbiz tonight, an Accra Circuit Court has rescinded a bench warrant issued for the arrest of hip-life musician Waisa. The court took the decision after the musician, who is standing trial for gross indecent exposure, appeared before it on Friday. During the last hearing on February 5, the musician failed to show up in court when the case was called, forcing the judge, Abina Ajendoku, to issue the bench warrant for his arrest. After the bench warrant was issued, Waisa later showed up at the court premises and, together with his lawyer, Jerry Avenobo, tried frantically to convince the judge to withdraw the bench warrant but failed. On Friday, Waisa's lawyer argued that his client was unable to appear in court on time because he was not feeling well and therefore came after the hearing. The judge, after listening to the lawyer's argument, withdrew the arrest warrant. Kumawood actor Yao Dabo nearly drowned in a swimming pool whilst on set acting for an upcoming movie. Yao Dabo is one of Ghana's actors who is fast carving a niche for himself. He is well known for his performance in the movie Mejowo Girl. Also in showbiz, dubbed the Princess of Africa, Yvonne Chaka Chaka has been at the forefront of South African popular music for 27 years and is a well-known face in the world of music. Our Black History Spotlight today is on Yvonne Chaka Chaka.
That's all we have by way of news for now. Many thanks for watching.
We'll be back at 10:30 with the latest news.
Good evening.